Grant, I heard people liked joshing around season 2, episode 1, so we had to do it again. We're in Vegas again. A little bit different, I think, of a backdrop. I was asked to speak by the show promoters of SupplySide West, and they're gonna let me do the Josh show for 2 hours. So me and my friends are going to jump on stage. We're gonna be talking leadership, we're gonna be talking strategy. Got a lot of really bright business leaders that are gonna be up there with me. Grant's gonna catch a bunch of these like clips here. I'm also gonna be taking around the Expo, a bunch of meetings, a bunch of all kinds of different things going on here. You'll at least get to see the show from my eyes, or maybe Grant's lens, but either way, it's the same thing. Hopefully you guys enjoy this episode.
So he's going to be the star of this show here and on the stage the whole time, and he will be with fellow stars interviewing leaders within this industry. Joshua, come to the stage, please.
So definitely honored that Informa asked me to kind of partner and trust me with a little bit of the Josh show, I guess. I see a lot of familiar faces, some new ones, so maybe you know who I am, maybe you don't. Doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, I'm only the one that's kind of gluing everything together. Got a lot of really great leaders that are gonna explain from their perspective how they've really been able to grow through this, like, I guess, modern dynamic economy. So I kind of handpicked each individual because they have a little bit of like uniqueness in the sense of like, you know, the business model structure in terms of how they set things up. Maybe that is awareness levers that they're pulling. Sometimes it's going to be product oriented, or even, you know, how they're kind of taking on human capital in today's world. So without kind of further delay, I'm going to bring up Tracey Warner Halama, the CEO of Vital Proteins. We're gonna have a really good fireside chat. Sales-oriented revenue person for most of your career, but just pulling that lever way too hard is maybe not, I would say, the right strategy in the chaotic environment that we've been in the last couple of years. So I wanted to, you know, get your perspective on how you guys have really like approached the chaos that's been going on, both from like the supply side, you know, supply chain, but also, you know, finance, just managing all that through also extreme growth at a huge revenue base.
Well, I think that when you look at how companies grow, there's a lot of different ways that you can achieve growth. And if you're a young brand and you're doing the right things and you've created the right product and the right business model and the right go-to-market, it's not that hard to go from 2 million to 4 million, 4 million to 8 million. It's really hard to start doubling growth when you're at the $100 million mark, 100 million to 200 million, 200 million to 400 million, and on. So I think that you always have to be constantly evolving your business model. It was no longer this paleo running company. Why people wanted collagen were more reasons kind of leaning towards the beauty market, so hair, skin, and nails. So we changed how we market it. So I think that that takes a mindset where you're willing to fail forward, you're willing to be agile, you're willing to say, okay, this isn't working, so let's put this product line, product family, go-to-market strategy on the shelf and go do something different.
To now, you know, the beauty from within, or the nutri-cosmetic, and you have, you know, somebody like Jennifer Aniston that would drive home maybe that, you know, that positioning. And so I'm just kind of curious, and I think a lot of people maybe are trying to figure out, like, if I am going to launch a brand, or if I'm going to be a part of any company, like, do we need to have a celebrity, or can we actually go at it by ourselves?
I don't think that you have to have a celebrity. I think if you choose to go down the path of a celebrity, whether that's an investor, whether that's like a chief creative officer, whether that's you know, just a ambassador, or a global name, I think it has to be the right fit for both parties. So I'm not sure if everyone knows the reason why we chose Jennifer Aniston. We thought about a lot of different celebrities at one point in time, and we kept coming back to Jen. So in 2015, so I told you that we first started selling products in 2014. In 2015, she started using our product. And then in March of 2016, She was named People Magazine Most Beautiful Woman in the World. The article, she talks about the collagen peptide that she used that gives her a healthy glow. And then there was a call out to our product. And we were like, holy, you know what? Everyone was freaking out, the marketing team, and we were about 12 or 14 people at the time. The marketing team's high-fiving, and I'm freaking out because of supply chain. I'm like, I don't know if we have enough. I'm gonna call the collagen supplier. I'm gonna make sure that we've got enough to support this like now new increased demand. And it was an inflection point for our company. And then it became the pitch deck to go into Whole Foods, GNC, you name the retailer.
You have to really understand who you are, and then ultimately, is that partner going to be accretive to what you guys are doing, or is it going to be a distraction or whatever? So I think it's definitely a really good point to think through, because it's not, I think all celebrities are definitely not equal. You have to really think about how they match up with your specific business. And like Tracey said, when you are starting a business, it could be something different. Usually you're building around that person's personal brand. You're thinking about how do you align product, how do you align everything to them. I did want to kind of shift to talk about another kind of, I guess, authenticity point. And I always love the story that you tell me when we're talking about, you know, you guys going through, I don't want to call it like a cultural evolution, but definitely something where you guys needed to take a, you know, a temperature check of the company from the human capital side and say, you know, who are we? Who is vital? You know, what does our employees want and stand for, and all those sorts of things. And you always kind of mention this story about, you know, asking your daughters like certain questions that you perceive how they're going to answer, or how you think you would answer it, and then they always answer completely different. And then that is, you know, I guess the point of how this all kind of came about, because a lot of your, I guess your employees, especially some of the young, they're closer to your daughter's age than you, so sometimes you have to like understand how do they think, you know, in terms of what are they most passionate about or whatever. And I know you guys went through like a process that you guys did to actually understand that type of stuff, but not just what the process was, but like what were some of those learnings, and how was that helpful to, you know, achieving growth?
Right. Well, I think no company was really prepared for the pandemic and the effect on our employees, human capital, during the pandemic.
Appreciate all the insights you share with the crowd. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right. All right, so we're going to jump into the next fireside chat. It's going to be with the co-founder and CEO of Ghost Lifestyle / Ghost Energy, or just Ghost by itself, Dan Lourenco.
I love the Between Two Ferns vibe this year.
Yeah, this is a camera guy's big fern, that's his name, so we had to do that type of thing. So
Nice.
So wanted to ask you, you know, to kind of talk about something that I think is, I wouldn't say that it wouldn't be the first thing that people would notice about you, but I think it's maybe arguably one of the most important things about Ghost and its success, and that is around being close to your customer, listening to your customer, and really letting them kind of guide you on what they want, you know, feeling like they're part of the process and everything.
I think like sports nutrition at its best, like core sports nutrition, your proteins, your pre-workouts, like they are social, shareable products, and the experience of taking them is also very shareable and fun. I think the industry prior to Ghost launching in 2016 lost some of that. I think sports nutrition at that time, dietary supplements at that time was very much holier than thou. It had this attitude of you have to train this way, eat this way, you know, supplement this way, or you're not one of us. And I think that's where the idea of Ghost started, of like, let's create a brand where the marketing is no marketing, the focus is on the core users just like ourselves, and let's just see where we can take it. Yeah, I mean, something I say a lot is authenticity is undefeated. You heard it even in some of Tracey's comments regarding Jen Aniston and kind of the background there. I think that, you know, the specific inspiration of like where Ryan, my co-founder, and I were like, man, like we have to do something. There's an opportunity here, was actually at the 2013 Olympia, where the two of us just threw a big after party every year. And, before the word influencer was ambassador, athlete, blogger, I don't know. But we threw this big party, and everybody, the who's who at the time, were there, and we noticed that it's like 2, 3 in the morning, of course, typical night in Vegas, right? Everyone was hiding their drinks, while they're taking pictures, because they couldn't be seen out drinking, right? They would tarnish their reputation or something. But we looked at it differently. We said, well, wait a sec. These are, aspirational, influential people that, frankly, I think would be a lot more relatable if they just told the truth. I mean, how easy of a marketing strategy or plan is that to just tell the truth and be transparent? So that's kind of what led to, obviously, like kind of the content teams and the videographers kind of following us around. Was we really just wanted to create something that we didn't think existed at that time in sports nutrition. I think that's good advice for any entrepreneur or business. Like find the white space, right? And I think like the gap that we noticed, like to build the brand that we wish existed, was to just be inclusive. And obviously that's become a buzzword in a lot of different ways, and we can talk about how Ghost has kind of made inroads there too. But for us, it was like, man, I always wish, like, you take Nike or any other brand as an example, like, man, how cool would it be to participate, to communicate with leadership of like how I feel, what I like, what my shopping preferences are, what my product preferences are. Like, that would be so cool. Like, why don't we create that opportunity for people in this category? Where again, people are, very passionate about the pre-workout or protein they take and how they use it and who they use it with and what they do with it. Like, why not give them, why not create a space on social media and create content showing the behind the scenes of the brand to kind of invite them in, if you will, to the drawing board.
You can own the business, but when you're talking about the end consumer brand, like, you don't own the brand. The brand is what the market is saying about you. And the best thing that you can do is really just be fully transparent.
It definitely, in some respects, makes you a little bit more bulletproof, I think, than the traditional company, because again, you're just putting yourself out there. It's not fake. And I think that's maybe one of, I think if you look at consumer behavior today, I think people have an amazing nose nowadays for BS. Right? Like, and I don't think the traditional, like, pay an athlete, have them pose with your product, like, hope that gets I don't think that there's really a lot of value. I don't think there's a lot of real effect or impact in doing that anymore. People want to see the how, they want to see the why, they want to see who's behind the brands and products that they love. And I think, like, if you share all that, and it resonates with, a group, whether it be big or small, depending on where you are in business, depending what your goals are, it does make you a little bit bulletproof in that, like, it's all there.
Yeah, I know that a lot of people here maybe are on the supplement side, but I want to talk about energy drinks a little bit more, because I think that Anheuser-Busch partnership is important to think about. Anybody that's thinking about strategic partnerships as a whole, is that, Dan and the team at Ghost, they're really great at a certain thing, but they maybe didn't understand sales and distribution day one in the beverage world. And they could have obviously learned and fell forward and kind of went through that process, or they could have went and tried to figure out, is there somebody here that can do that stuff great? That's what they do day in and day out. And sometimes it's a matter of figuring out, how do you create those 1 + 1 = 3 situations? And I think that over this last, maybe it's not even been in the market for 2 years at this point, but I think the proof's in the pudding in terms of how that strategic partnership has worked out so far. But you guys were, playing FIFA and things when, you could document that stuff through the vlog back in 2016. Like, you guys were gaming before you entered the gaming market.
Yeah, pretty cool, I guess, side effect of documenting all these years is, like, there's little things that we've done over the years that all of a sudden you see it on shelf. There's never really the master plan. Like, the Ghost mindset has always been brick by brick, kind of see where the road goes. I mean, when we first launched, just to be clear, we had pre-workout, we had amino acids, we didn't even have protein because we couldn't afford it. So this whole thing has been this brick by brick. Let's use one win or one kind of lesson to kind of propel the next thing and the next thing.
The panelists today, again, picked each one of them for a multitude of reasons. I think they all have perspectives on the space from strategy and leadership that I think there's going to be a ton of insights that are going to be shared here. So I want to just thank each one of the panelists for joining me. I call it like owning the machine, and I think there's this, I guess, 2 ways. That's probably generalizing or making this super simplistic. There's millions of ways to build a business model, but when you think about the two kind of trees to think about, you're like, is it asset light? Do I want to make sure that I'm outsourcing as much of these things, or do I want to own more of the machine, have more vertical integrations, or horizontal integrate, whatever those things are. And I think each one of these panelists have some uniqueness to their business model, and they can leverage that to create a bunch of value. So I'll start with Nicole.
We think about categories that are being underserved and underrepresented with options like taste amazing. And how can we use our supply chain, which is, we've been investing in for a long time, but also like you need to create that flywheel for everything to work together. I mean, there's a lot of asset light, brain heavy business models. I can tell you one thing, pea protein is not one of those. It is asset heavy, and hopefully also lots of brains, but you have assets and they need to run.
And maybe even being able to leverage that contract manufacturer. I know when we were talking, I kind of dubbed it the software version strategy.
And I think you and I like had a kind of an argumentative back and forth like a year or two ago about like you had the content piece about like you can't split test your way into a market fit. And we're sort of towing the line with that concept. And the initial iteration of the GLAXON brand was overhauled in basically less than a year.
During uncertainty, a lot of people pull back on risk. A lot of people pull back on capital expenditures and big assets and things like that. And you guys decided to go in the complete other way, which I love the risk taking, but I was curious, like, what kind of went through your brain?
As we saw in sports nutrition, in quarter two, it looked like the world was coming to an end. And we weren't even worried about necessarily building another facility. We were worried about just keeping our current one running.
You have to go through and think about decisions when you are launching these products, because you're not going to go and create something that is me too or boring. You're going to be looking at this as like, how do we create something great? But then if that's priced $10, $15, $20 more than maybe what people expectation level is, like, are you going to hit too much resistance? Are you not?
Yeah. I mean, I think we've been fortunate to sort of like take we have a lot of breadth in the lifestyle solutions that we offer in products, and I think that's kind of an extension of like where we entered the market and timing and so on. But now it's a huge concern for me because I'm looking at the retail foot traffic, I'm looking at like consumer spending habits, like disposable income issues, and like if you're offering legitimate product market fits in like 16 different categories, like how supportive of one brand is a customer?
Thank you, guys.
And let's give one more round of applause to thank Joshua Schall.
Fresh off the stage, how you feeling?
Man, 2 hours, that's a lot. I had a blast. I think, honestly, it was a ton of fun. I was, honored that I got to share all of my, friends, really great business leaders, and have them have the ability to share their insight. Also, just get in front of a bunch of people that I know and some that I don't know, to just be able to share my perspective on the industry, share what I am passionate about, and what I think people really need to know about what's going on in this kind of changing, evolving landscape. So, hope you guys enjoyed that.
What's next?
Next, we're gonna go over to the Expo. We're gonna see a bunch of really cool booths, a bunch of innovation. We're gonna see a bunch of friends. We're gonna take you along. We're gonna see all kinds of, the B2B side, the behind the curtain supply side of the industry. Most people see the, the brands, the flashy stuff, the ghosts, the GLAXONs, those types of things. But we're gonna see the people behind them, the ones that are the suppliers, the contract manufacturers, all that kind of stuff. So it's gonna be great. Is this the side channel?
This is side channel
On
content.
food. All right, so I have a, what do I got, a chicken slider. I don't know the exact ingredients in here. You want to zoom in on that one? Yeah, so we're going to try this. That's good. Again, quality content for you guys.
It's good.
With my mouth full. So I know people that like to watch people eat. This is probably for you. I don't know how much more I'll do this, but this was fun.
So what we're doing here today is giving people kind of a peek into how we run one of our studies. So this is kind of a simulated study. In this wellness experience, we figured people at the conference might want to de-stress. We track their mindfulness and stress before and after the experience. And then we have technology that automatically sends you a personalized health report.
Love it.
And you can see how you performed, how other people that day performed, and how a control group performed that did not undergo such a wellness experience.
I'm competitive, so I better perform well.
You better, yeah, exactly. So we've been running this experience. It's about an 8-minute experience, and people have been coming back and bringing their friends. So we figured it was our little gift to SupplySide West.
I love it. I love it. I was like mentioning to somebody yesterday, I have been to SupplySide West more times than I remember at this point, but I always would leave and I would like, I just wouldn't feel inspired. I felt like everything was the same and drab and whatever, and I always was like, why are not people trying to be inventive and different in their experience at the booth? Like, you still want to be memorable. Like, if everybody looks the same and is doing the same things and saying the same things, you're just going to fall into the same traps as everybody else, where then you guys are taking a different approach. People are going to remember this. Are we chatting or am I going through this? I'm going through it? All right.
A few moments later.
Josh! What's going on?
Where am I?
Whoa.
Where am I?
Whoa.
I'm so much more relaxed.
So red. How are you feeling?
Marginally less stressful. I think it's impossible not to be on edge when you're at a trade show, when you have to be on all day long. I am an introvert. I'm definitely somebody, I wouldn't call myself a recluse, but I'm definitely somebody that does not do very well in a ton of crowds. But I can put on a smile and a little bit of charisma for the crowd. This was a good first day. I mean, I think each year that I come to these trade shows, what's the heat check? Like, how many people are saying hello to me? How many people are resonating with things that I'm doing, if it's content or even, you know, clients, people that have heard things I've done in the industry. I think each year I try to incrementally build up, and I feel like this year has been a good start. The first day was like really great. I talked to a lot of really great people. I'm exhausted, but we're gonna be back for tomorrow, so hopefully you guys will be along and be enjoying this. Woo! We are back. Day 2. I'm exhausted. Glad we got some energy drinks. These are new. Eric, how long are these been out for?
About a month now, 3 weeks.
So I'm excited to get some caffeine in me because I've got a big day at SupplySide West, but Eric's actually doing like double time, right? You got what, the Esports Business Conference?
Doing 2 conferences at the same time, same exact day, same exact time. Ubers back and forth, it's crazy. I need a double shot, man. My panel is called Brand Camp.
Okay.
It's with, I got thrown into it kind of last minute. It's with Kraft, Gillette, Coca-Cola, and then ADVANCEDgg. Yeah.
Big dogs.
Very corporate companies, big dogs definitely. But I'm excited about it because then, you know, I can bring a unique perspective that's definitely going to be different than the corporate kind of way of doing things. So.
No, I think it'll be good because I think they're going to give that 30,000 foot view on whatever, and they're going to give, I would say, bland talking points, and then you can go in there and actually give value, like from the ground level, from the dirt, and say, yeah, those things are true, but like, here's actually how you would do that.
Yeah.
You know, you were kind of mentioning around like authenticity, and that's, I know, a buzzword, and it's, even when I was doing my speaking engagement yesterday, that was a big thing that keep getting brought up. It's like all of a sudden
so
that's
much.
like the buzzword.
Yeah.
And I think it's like anything, what's the context of that? How do you actually do it? And I think that's where you're going to be able to like really shine, because you guys are actually doing it over a lot of those brands that, yeah, they're doing it in a little bit of way, but they're also spending their way to get in.
Yeah.
You know, so all kinds of different things going on, because you're like arguably one of the best people to talk to, because you've been in the game for like a while. You know this stuff from,
literally,
you know, inside and out. Like, I think a lot of people, they, you know, even me, I feel like sometimes there's a little bit of like an imposter syndrome, because like I was telling somebody yesterday that I gamed up until a point like when I was in high school, and like, you know, now I'm 37 years old, where like that was N64, that was like back in the day. And then, you know, for whatever reason, you know, you get a car, girls, sports, whatever, you drop gaming. And then you try to pick it up again, and it's like the games are so complex, the controllers are so complex. Like all of a sudden you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what's going on. So sometimes like when I'm
talking to people, they're talking about all these different like games. I'm like, yeah, I tried to play it, and I'm terrible at it. I'm like the guy that people would totally roast, like because I'm just the worst at it. But like if you want to get me on the sticks of like and Sega Genesis or like regular Nintendo, I can run people still. I think I could do that, but
it hurts when kids are like 12 years old and then they destroy you. That's an ego. Like,
that's the problem.
It's like I thought I was a grown man and like I was special, but
if you ever want to see me like in a different light, is like get me into those like rooms and like I get the headset on and like I think to myself like I could talk trash, and then I get wrecked by like a 12-year-old, and then I'm like, okay, I just need to like sulk in the corner.
Ego check.
Yeah, just.
Josh, what's the plan? Where are we going?
So we're back in the beautiful convention center in Mandalay Bay. We just got done with breakfast with Eric. Got to shoot the shit about the esports world, because that's always an interesting conversation. And they're doing a bunch of good things. But we're back just kind of checking out some things. We've got a bunch of meetings, so got to take you along the ride.
Josh, how was today?
It was really great. I had a lot of really great conversations today with maybe some people that you'll be seeing in some future episodes of Joshin' Around. I always try to get the most out of these shows possible, because getting out of my groove, getting out of my home office and things like that, I know that you have to get out of your comfort zone, but at the end of the day, these things also are draining. They're good to shake hands, kiss babies, I always say, but this is what you have to do sometimes. And I think that it was good to really meet a lot of people that I've interfaced with a lot through content or webinars, or even through just like Zoom meetings or emails or things like that. So it was really good. I mean, I think overall, super successful show for me. I enjoyed my time. I think each year I enjoy this show a little bit more. I think that this year, the vibe for me was try to go a mile deep and an inch wide. I always try to go and try to do as much as I can, but I've realized that I have to really kind of focus a lot more and kind of really put a lot more attention towards the people that are supporting me and that I want to support as well. And I think I had a lot of those really great conversations. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog as well. I mean, I know we're trying to do a little bit different here. This is episode 2. We're going to do episode 3, 4, 5. You're going to get sick of me soon. I promise you. We don't know exactly what episode 3 is going to be just yet, or when that timing is going to be, but stick around. I'd love for you guys to subscribe to my channel. And if it's not a vlog, hopefully you guys will catch some of the other strategic content and stuff that I have on my channel.